What's up? This is Stef Swayne. Welcome to the breakdown.
The average person, when you think about music, you don't realize how much of an impact it has on your own life. So welcome to the breakdown. My name is Stef Swayne. Got my partner, KT. KT got beats. Got my man Rob in the building. So we just sitting here breaking down, talking about Excuse Me Miss.
Woo-wee.
Excuse Me Miss, the Jay-Z record.
Yeah.
With Pharrell.
Yeah.
You know, off that Blueprint 2 album.
Mm.
Some say it was a subpar album.
They do say that.
I say it could have been a classic.
It ain't top 3 though.
It's not top 3. It ain't top 5. But I think we all can agree
It's got
that
some great
it ages better with time. You know what I'm saying?
Like most of Jay stuff, man.
I think that it was a double disc. That was Ho's first double disc.
Oh, it was a double disc. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, The Gift and the Curse.
That intro was crazy.
Intro was nuts.
Intro was
OV
crazy.
Baby. It's a lot of stuff on there. The first single was Bonnie and Clyde.
That's tough.
Jay and
That's
Beyonce,
tough.
you know, it was like they coming out, party dating. Kanye produced it. A lot of people don't realize Kanye did that joint, that Bonnie and Clyde.
03.
03 Bonnie and Clyde.
03.
Kanye's first rap verse as a rapper that was released was on there on the Blueprint 2. The Bounce.
Dang. Ain't even.
There was some crazy joints on there, but I just feel like the double disc, I feel like a lot of people say if it was condensed, maybe it would have been
it was a lot of
classic. There was a lot of songs on there, but the one we focusing on today is Excuse Me Miss.
Excuse me.
Excuse Me Miss. So Excuse Me Miss, man. That single was released in 03. I think it was released around February, which is crazy because now that I think about it, February is Valentine's Day.
03.
03.
03. I feel like it was a lot of things happening in that year too, but that particular song, well, first of all, like 03, like think about how old we was.
13.
I was 13.
13.
I was 13.
I might, if it was February, I was turning 13. I wasn't even 13.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was 12 then.
Stupid young, but I think in the early 2000s, I was just really figuring out. I know my influences as a producer, and the Neptunes, of course.
The classic Neptune sound
on that list, and that sound. I was just like, "What is this?" When it came on, like when the song came out, I ain't really. And also, I'll say this. I mean, I'm from Alabama, so I wasn't bumping hella Jay-Z.
Yeah, I wasn't
like deep into Jay-Z at that time. So this was just like a single, seen the video, all that. So it was like, but I was into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like I said, we was all young, but I think that with this record, with this single, it was the first one that Jay-Z was big, but I feel like it was a transition where it was like he was growing us up. I think that was like that was that Jersey era, that throwback era. You know what I'm saying? And he had us like, even at 13, 14, he had us wanting to clean up. Like we were starting to take the jerseys. For me, I was taking the jerseys off and putting a polo on. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the beginning of really starting to clean up. You know what I'm saying? And with that particular single, I remember people, even like my mom, bro, was bumping it. You know what I'm saying? It was that grown up and sexy vibe. I think Hov changed the game with that one. You know what I'm saying? Like
it was a different vibe.
Yeah, it was a different vibe.
Sure.
It was a different vibe. It was clean. It was classy. It was grown up music, and I feel like it resonates more with us to this day because he was, like you said, off camera. He was like 30s. We all in our 30s now, and he was in his early 30s when he recorded that. So we feel him even more.
Yeah, real talk.
You know what I'm saying? Neptune's produced that Excuse Me Miss. Pharrell on the hook.
For real, with the singing. Yo, I mess with that because you know, like I think you just said a second ago, like for real, it was just like, yo, he ain't really a singer, but he was just like, I'm gonna sing this.
So I remember when I saw it, because I remember like, so this record got like a double meaning to me in terms of time. Because I remember when it first came out, it was something that was so grown. I had to sit and like admire it and learn, because it was like, so this is what grown people on.
The video, I feel like the song and the video was like a turning point in music. You know what I'm saying? Like it was innovative. Like you think about, like you said, getting on the elevator, they had the suits on. I want to say they might have been at the 4040.
Yeah, there was at some kind of club. Yeah,
even seeing the whole Rockefeller crew in suits. Beanie Siegel, as gangster as he was, in a suit. You know what I'm saying? The two-way pager when he was sending in the love.
That's the part that's the part I thought I remembered from the video.
The helicopter.
Yeah.
Going around NYC. You know what I'm saying?
The
Getting out
vibes of it.
the private jet with the S. card, and he hopping out, and it's got a car for every day of the week on the license plate. Like he was just showing us some crank like that video.
He always flex well, you know.
Yeah, but that just go to show you the greatness that's behind these classic records, because I think there was a top 10. It wasn't the number one. It was a top 10 on Billboard. It was a number one rap song, but I mean, I think it may have peaked around number 8. And that Blueprint album sold like 500,000 the first week, stuff like that. But you know, when you really get into like these memories, they're for a reason. Like Little X. He directed that video, you know what I'm saying? And we know his catalog. He was the eyes of the game, you know, and just little stuff Jay was saying in the record. You know, even him shouting out My Crib, St. Louis, like he said, the only dudes moving units, M, Pimp, Juice, and Us. That just showed how big
Nelly was at the time.
Bruh, you know, I got to plug my city in every time.
Yeah.
Nelly, Eminem, and him. It was like we the only ones really making noise at this time, you know, and even just. I think that may have been the first time you had like a sample. Like think about it. Like he sampled the Luther Vandross joint, and I think the Luther Vandross joint might have came out like the year or two before that. Like you never. How much confidence as a producer do you have to be like?
That's also how you know his relationships were strong, because a lot of them artists you couldn't just sample. Like even if you paid them, they was just saying no. It's the same thing, like on the 444, he sampled Stevie, and Stevie don't let nobody sample him. Yeah. So it's like
relationship. Jay-Z was colossal.
He was and like what you say, he was in like his early 30s at that point. So that's crazy. Like at that early to be able to have those kind of relationships, to just be able to do that.
And Jay-Z really like hip hop's father. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he was ahead of the Maybach, you know what I'm saying?
Man, he was.
Like, you know what I mean?
He set a lot of trends, man.
He really showed, he didn't really grew up a whole generation, you know what I'm saying, of hip hop more than any other artist. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's definitely one of those like feathers in the cap, man. You gotta give Jay, like a lot of dudes follow, like he trailblazed a lot of things.
Definitely did. He was always thinking far ahead, even with the Annie sample, you know what I'm saying? And like being able to set that up with other people, other hip hop artists and use it, Like who would think about that at the time? Like, you know what? Let me do this to where if any other rap artist want to use this, it's cleared already.
Right.
Like nobody thinks that far ahead.
Yeah. I think back to that time when that came out, even just like you said, him doing innovative stuff, like that whole run for that album, you know, like when he did the first single with the Bonnie and Clyde. I don't want to get too far off, Excuse Me Miss, but it's still the rollout for the album. So like, I remember, I don't know if y'all do, but him and Beyonce riding with the New York, like the matching outfits.
Yep.
Riding, pulling up the TRL when TRL was popping and going to perform that. And then even like around the time Excuse Me Miss came out, and I remember personally like Mike Tyson had his return fight, and then Jay-Z did the show on Showtime. The same night as the fight, like after the fight, he did the concert, and it was promoting Blueprint 2, and the stage was in the shape of a diamond. Like I recorded that on my VHS tape. You know what I'm saying? He was in Memphis. Shout out to KD. He was in Memphis. You know what I'm saying? But just the promo, like the next, like no rappers was doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just gearing up for an album. But even like you said, excuse me, Miss, getting back into the record, like how powerful it was, him coming on the Grown and Sexy tip and him getting Pharrell and the Neptunes at the time. I don't think people now, even like a younger generation, realize how big they were, that sound was at that time.
Yeah.
And then sampling Luther Vandross and Biggie. And Prince.
How you pull all that off?
Prince is a theme anyway.
You know what I'm
come back
saying?
to
Like,
Especially for real.
so that sample from Excuse Me, Miss, and when we say samples, because you're the producer, so people like they sampled the hook from Luther and Biggie.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Luther's Take You Out, Biggie's Big Papa. And then I think he sampled the drums from Prince's Walk That Walk.
Yeah, sometimes like they say sample and it's like interpolation. So they really just took the Can I Take You? It's like they didn't necessarily sample it, but they just took the song. Like they just took the lyrics, they took the melody. And that's a hip hop staple anyway. It's just you're just gonna take something that's hot and make your own version out of it. And again, like you gotta have a lot of relationships to be able to sample Biggie, Luther Vandross, and Prince. You got to clear all that. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to know. You got to know people, and you got to because a lot of times it be bigger than the money with them. It's just like no, it's Jay. Like I do it. You know what I'm saying? So
always been,
yeah. That's hip hop. That's hip hop.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's always been samples. Hip hop has always been samples,
but I think maybe when Diddy and them came out, I think that's when it went to the next
level.
level.
See,
I don't know. I mean,
it depends on how you define samples. Because technically, hip hop, like anytime you sampling even a drum from a record, which is how people made hip hop, that's sampling.
That's a sample.
But you think, like most people think of sampling is like, I took this song and I'm like looping it in some kind of way. But I mean, hip hop always been based in samples. Like the 808, you know what I'm saying? Like the actual drum machine was, you can sample stuff. And so you can create your own sounds, or you could sample when people had like the MPCs and stuff, you could sample a record and take the drums from that. Even now today, when people release drum packs, like if they really doing it, they either creating their own or they sampling it from somewhere and then they adding their own sauce to it. But yeah, to be able to do that for him at that time.
At that time, he a made man. Because that's after Black Album.
No, that was before. That was right before.
Right before.
So it's after Blueprint.
Yeah, yes.
Right before Black Album.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was the top. He was the top dog in the game
time.
at that point.
03?
Wow.
03?
Because Blueprint was what, 01? Which
That's
is a crazy
crazy.
year in hip hop. But
Who was so?
Actually, I think the Black Album dropped at 02, but you know, let's say late November 02, so really 03. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and how confident do you got to be as an artist to drop? Like at that time, Jay-Z was dropping every single year an album. In St. Louis, we in the Midwest, so we was a little bit of everything. So,
right. Everybody I know from the Midwest, all my homies, and my boy Amon, my boy Small Eyes, he from like Ohio, and he be like, yo, we absorbed everything in the Midwest.
But of course it was Jay, a lot of Nelly, because that's right in the middle of his hot streak. But Jay, man, like that was Nellyville, Air Force Ones. All that was at the same time. That's why.
Was.
I mean, he was big enough for Hove to be like only dudes moving units.
And Nelly was selling albums.
He came out the gate diamond.
Yeah, at least one diamond.
Yeah. Country Grammar.
Maybe that double album, that's Suit and Sweat, that did some numbers.
Yeah, all his. Yeah.
All his
but
joints did,
but
yeah.
Country Grammar definitely went diamond. One of the very few.
Bruh, 03? Get Rich or Die Trying came out? That's what this, we talking about what was going on at the time.
A little bit of the excuse me miss, like people got to realize why these records resonate with us to this day. I think part of it is because of who touched it and the hands in it, right? So K, you a producer, and of course the Neptunes, you know what I'm saying? And we got the sample, the Prince sample, the Luther Vandross sample, the Biggie sample, right? The engineers on that joint, man.
Talk about them.
Let me give you something, man. So there's a guy named Rich Travali. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Well, we all know first we're gonna shout out the Guru, because everybody who knows anything about hip
gonna
hop
touch it.
knows Guru. If you hear Jay-Z, you know Guru is the one that's mixing all his vocals. But another mix engineer that worked on that record, his name was Rich Travali. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Let me give you some of his, just a little bit of his resume. And I think when you start putting together the pieces and the hands that was in on it, you understand why certain stuff resonates.
Right.
This guy worked, first of all, Jay samples Biggie. Big Pop, you know the hook. Big Papa. One of the this guy, Rich Travali, was one of the engineers on a lot of Biggie's records. Big Papa, One More Chance, Warning. He worked on a lot of Nelly records. Dilemma, Air Force Ones, Hot in Here. These ain't just B-side records. These are Flap Your Wings.
Not at all.
This is his Pimp Juice, Over and Over, Tip Drill.
All the
He did If I Rule the World by Nas, Hate Me Now. Robin Thicke, Lost Without You.
Come on, man.
Mariah Carey,
They just call him when they know it's going to be a smash.
they're on Destiny's Child, Independent Woman, Mary J. Blige. He worked on Share My World's album. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Also, a recording engineer on there was Andrew Coleman, who works on a lot of Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, Rock Your Body.
Shout out to the engineers, man, because
these people are the ones.
Do engineers get enough credit?
No, they definitely don't.
Never. That's why we want to shout them out, because, I mean, the sound is crisp. Like, we just get so used to the quality that we really don't appreciate the fact that somebody had to, like, make sure the things were set up. Just like we had to set up these mics, somebody had to make sure, like, okay, the mic set up, the booth is good. The you know what I'm saying, the sound traps and everything we got set up in here, it's gonna be quality. And then somebody had to mix it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to bring out the elements of it. You gotta appreciate all them people for real.
And so these I feel like those two guys was picked for a reason. You see what they only associated with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I wonder, how do you become, you know what I'm saying, somebody like that who has that ear for those classics, or is it just?
Yeah, I mean, that's
a talent that.
I mean, just knowing some of the OG engineers I know. I mean, first of all, you just got to be a complete nerd with it. You really got to, like, just get into it. You got to be a lab rat. You got to be a mad scientist. Most of them is mad scientists. Like, you get in there, you don't know how it sounds so good, but they figured out over the years the right vocal chain, the right compressor, like all hardware and different things to go through to make sure it's good. And then the best ones, they just use their ear. And that's what you'll hear most OG engineers tell you, like, just trust your ear. Like, they don't care about the plugins. They don't care about all that stuff. Like, how do it sound? How do it feel? And they'll listen to it with their eyes closed and just be like, yeah, this right. You know? And I feel like the only way you get on all them kind of records is people trust you and you trust your own ear when it come to that stuff. Because you call somebody like that because you don't have to think about it no more. You like, I'm going to record over here. I'm going to let them mix it, master it, and they're going to have it right. And you don't really question it. I mean, I don't know how much Guru's involved. And, you know, they probably had a couple talks, but you're like, yo, it's going to be good. Like, they know what they're doing, man. But I would say the thing about engineers is one of them crafts. It's always underappreciated, like KD said. And also, it takes a long time to really get like masterful at it, because there's so many things that you can watch. You can go to YouTube and learn a lot, but it's a lot of stuff that you almost can't even teach. Like you just have to understand it, you know.
Yeesh.
It's crazy like that.
So how did Rob? You was like off camera. You was talking about Pharrell and his hooks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it got me thinking, because when I think hooks, I start thinking about T-Pain, Nate Dogg. But like you said, Pharrell got some hooks.
Yeah.
That I don't know if it's because he's so good that we don't.
I always feel like, bro, it's a cheat code when you're a producer, because you understand melodies. Also, I don't know if we talked about this, but I think Pharrell learned how to sing. Like, you know, like he actually had like vocal lessons.
I know that.
I believe so. And it's like, if you do that, because a lot of his stuff, like he said, like he made a lot of stuff for like Prince and Michael and got turned down a lot. It don't matter if he's singing and it don't sound like the greatest thing ever. The melody of his voice, along with the instrumentation, just mixes so well that it's like it's a smash every time.
That record, man. Like it's one of my favorites, man. Like I said, like
how did it become one of your favorites? Talk to me.
So I think it's always been one of my singles. We just talking singles, Jay-Z singles. And like KT was saying, it's just a feeling. Like, and that's something that you can speak on as a producer. Pharrell brought that feeling, you know, with the Luther reference. And then like as I get older, just going through my journey as a man, becoming a man, it's just like all of us have either had or have that one woman that gives us that feeling that Hove got and Excuse Me Miss, whether it's our wives or previous situations, whatever. But let's just say, like, if me and my wife are going out on a date night, you know, and she's getting ready, getting right. That's something that I go to. Like,
you can put that on.
She hopping the whip. It's something that I'm going, because this that feeling that you get when you come out and it's done with the makeup and all that. And it's
right.
Like, Jay provided that, you know. So as a grown man, I just feel like it's one of those records of his where he's got songs that's so big that one I feel like, even though it was a successful single, it goes under the radar.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even like I go to a lot of Hove concerts. I went to the 444 tour recently, and I went to the On the Run 2 tour with Beyonce. He didn't perform that at either one. He doesn't really perform that much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's appreciated more when you hear it, because it takes you back to that feeling as a grown man. He's just talking that talk.
But I got to go back to the production on it, because if you think about how just the sound of it, right? Just the production, it's got this real, like, it's this synth on it, just like, and then even the drums is like, in the bass line is like boom, 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 doom, doom, doom. You know what I'm saying? It's just grooving. That's some grown man like feel to it. And then of course, like you mentioned before, well, I got to give a shout out to Chad on that thing, but Pharrell on the hook, and just I feel like what I love about how Pharrell do his hooks is it's all feeling.
I don't mean to cut you off, but them drums came from Prince. If you listen to Prince's record, that
the one that came from,
the Walk On By or Walk. Hold on,
it's craziness, man. It's all feeling though. It's a good thing. It's just like this feel good, because even if you go back to like Pharrell's first hook, like I think he talked about this in the Drink Champs joint with the Mystical joint.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Tension, and he was like, though, that was just a demo. Like, that wasn't supposed to be the actual record. Like, he was just trying to sing it, the idea. And they was just like, yo, let's just roll with that. And he was like, whoa, what y'all doing?
A producer always has the competitive advantage in terms of being a songwriter. Ye, because they ain't the best. Ye ain't, like when people say top 5, you never hear Ye. But if you talk about top 5 catalogs, Ye is tough.
It's tough.
It's like, but these, with what Pharrell does, and that's why it's such a beautiful thing, on that Excuse Me Miss, because he never does anything that takes away.
The Dream is another one, my bad. But the Dream is
Yeah,
another one.
that's a fact.
He created the right amount of space because he say, "Excuse me." Damn. You know what I'm saying? So, and then he just come and like it's a long. They always say like the music happens in between the notes. You know what I'm saying? And the spaces between the notes. So like that's really, and I'm just learning that. As somebody who been making beats.
How long you been producing? Okay,
I was about to say almost 20 years. I've been making beats almost 20 years, and I just realized the spaces where the magic happened. You know what I'm saying? Inside the music, Pharrell has always known that, and now I'm trying to apply that to what I'm doing. So it's just like pause, let it breathe. That was Jay always say that. You know what I'm saying? Let it breathe for a second.
Yeah.
'Cause you got to groove. You got to have somewhere to groove in there. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that was a perfect example. And of course, it was from the Luther. Yeah. But it's like,
and them drums came from Prince. That's nuts. Have you ever heard that, Rob? No. Check it out.
Look at that. Put it up to the mic a little bit. There it is.
So let me ask you though.
Shout out for the listeners.
So that sample came from Prince. It's called "Walk Don't Walk." Prince and the New Power Generation.
The New Power Generation.
That album, 1991. Oh man, Diamonds and Pearls was on that same album. Man. Check them out back to back and see how amazing this is. So this is Prince.
Cause you can hear the shakers in there, and the way to snare it. Like that's that same joint. You know what I'm saying?
So check hold.
Same snare right there. The shakers in there. But he had a boom, and then
so Pharrell didn't, like you said, he didn't put too much on it. He just
and then wait.
It's like it's part of the
right. It's almost part of the sample, like almost. You know, it's like because Jay's still talking through it, and it's like it's just there, but it just create that vibe.
So that goes back to our engineers that we shout
out. You got to shout out to engineer, man, because really, without them,
Rich Travali,
it could come out. It could sound a lot different. I'm saying
your name correctly, brother.
Yeah, Rich.
Andrew Coleman and Rich Travali. Man.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, sure. It's a crucial element. It's a crucial part of it. It's a crucial part of the process because they making the last minute decisions.
Wow.
Like, because think about it. Like, Pharrell vocals could have been louder, and the engineer could have been like, let me bring this down a little bit. Let me let Jay come through. Let me let the little Prince drums come through. The engineers are like mad scientists, man, because they really just like, they can envision it. They can see it. Because a lot of engineers think about, especially if they ever work with live sound, they think about where people are on the stage. They think about like, oh, Pharrell might be back here and Jay gonna be up here. So like, let me put Pharrell's vocals a little bit tucked away. And it's just, it come out great. And if you do it right, it sounds good forever.
There isn't a Jay record that feels dated. Where I'm from hits hard. The whole Reasonable Doubt freestyles hit hard. You know what I'm saying? That's why I keep saying that wine reference, like, bro, with time, it's still gonna hit you different. So it's like you hearing it for the first time versus it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff that I heard is like, okay, it'll either sometimes something can feel dated, but it still hits hard. It's like a time capsule.
Before we get up out of here, I want to give somebody out their flowers that indirectly has something to do with this Jay-Z, Excuse Me Miss record. His name is Warren Campbell.
Woo!
Producer. Warren Campbell, Rob, he produced Luther Vandross's Take You Out, which Jay-Z sampled on the hook. So Warren Campbell, man, he's from L.A., producer. You got to start with DJ Quick. If the name sounds familiar, you probably know him from Mary Mary. He's married to Erica Campbell from Mary Mary.
Yeah.
But so people, when you look at him on, when you think about Warren Campbell, most people know him from that. I think they had a reality show and stuff like that. Why? No, I don't want to disrespect the man and say most people, but let's just say in our generation, the people who may not be familiar with him for what he's really done may know him from that. But man, Warren Campbell's done a lot of hits. My personal favorite was Just a Friend by Mario. That's my generation coming up in high school. That Just a Friend was different.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Mario. He also did that Braid My Hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He did that Braid My Hair. I had braids at the points. Yeah, Warren Campbell, man, he got some hits, man. Tyrese Shame, Kanye Homecoming.
Yeah, he did a lot with Kanye. He did that. I don't want to be misquoted, but I remember Kanye shouted him out. I want to say it was We Major.
Yeah, he did We Major.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
But
We
also,
Major.
I mean, we used to listen to a lot of Mary.
Yeah, Mary hard.
And
yeah, I know your house.
Bruh, the keys, dog, because he on the keys with it.
Yeah.
Yo, he incredible, man. We got to get him this.
Shout out Warren Campbell. He's also credited for records with Drake, Music Soul Child, Brandy, Escape, Jill Scott, Trey Songz, man. So we want to give our flowers to Warren Campbell,
yes,
man.
Sir.
That's what we're giving our flowers to today on the Breakdown. That's the Breakdown, man. Once again, my name is Stef Swayne. I got KT, producer. I got my man Rob. We thank you for tuning in, man. Catch us on the next one.